Assalamualaikum, my name is Ahmad Usama bin Nazar and my metric number AA191939.
And my name is Muhammad Azim bin Ahmad Fauzi. My metric number is AA191548. In this video, we will like to discuss about the Lab 1 Industrial Electronic, that is Introduction to Electromechanical Control Devices.
In Lab Activity 1, Basic Relay Circuit Task 1A. First of all, we need to make sure our circuit assembly is correct. The circuit is not in a complete circuit because there is no current flowing there. But if you press the push button, the current will start flowing and causing the coil to energize, and it will produce magnetic field. It causing the R1 change from normally open to normally closed, and the bulb will light up.
For task 1B, connect the devices as shown in the figure and test the circuit. The circuit is not in a complete circuit because there is no current flow. When the power supply is turned on, the R1 is in normally closed condition, and that causing the bulb will turn on. Then, when I push the push button, R1 normally open become normally closed. So, that causing the first bulb to turn on, meanwhile the second one is not turned on. Okay, now I will explain about the observations and questions for lab activity 1. The first observation is discuss the difference between the push button in task 1A and task 1B. In task 1A, push button is a normally open push button. So when we push the push button, the bulb will light up. Meanwhile, for the task 1B, the push button is a normally closed button. So when we turn on the power supply, the bulb will light up. Okay, next, discuss the difference between the two relay contacts used in task 1B. There are two relay contacts that used in task 1B. First one is normally open relay and the second one is normally closed relay. When we turn on the power supply, the second bulb will light up while the first one is not light up. But when we push the push button, the first relay will become normally closed and the second relay will become normally open, so that the first bulb will light up and the second bulb will not light up.
Okay, now let's move on to the question part. The first question is state the type of relay used in relay module. Mention the number of poles and throws. Okay, so the type of relay that's being used in task 1A is normally open relay with single pole, single throw. For task 1B, it is a normally open and normally closed relay. There is two types of relay that's used in task 1B, and that is a double pole and single throw. Okay, so for the question number 2, state the number of relay in relay module. The number of relay that's being used in task 1A is 1, and for the task 1B is 2 relays. Lab Activity 2, Basic Timer Circuit Task 2A. Connect the device as shown in figure. Turn the knob to set the time and test the circuit. When we push the button, the timer will start to count. When the timer turns out, the bulb will light up. Push the reset button and the timer will reset and the bulb will light off. We move to Task 2B. Connect the device as shown in figure. Turn the knob to set the time and test the circuit. Press the push button and the bulb will light up, and then when we depress the push button and the timer will start to count. After the timer is out, the bulb will light up.
For the observation number 1, find out the minimum and maximum time setting of the timer. For both tasks, which is task A and task B, the minimum time setting is 0, where the timer starts from 0. So, the maximum time setting is 5 seconds. As we can see the circuit in task A, the timer has been set for 5 seconds. And for the task B, the timer set for 5 seconds too. So the minimum and maximum time setting of the timer is 0 second and 5 seconds. We will move on to discuss the difference between the timer operation in task 2A and task 2B. At task 2A, the timer used here is on delay timer. When we turn on the power supply and push the push button, the timer started to count. After time is out, the normally open relay will become closed, so the bulb will light up. For task 2B, timer used here is off delay timer. When we turn on the power supply and push the push button, the bulb will light up. And when we depress the push button, the timer start to count, and after the timer is out, the bulb will light off. Okay, now let's discuss about the question number 1. That is, state the timing function for the timer in task 2A and task 2B. Timer in task 2A function is on delay timer, which is the timer will start count immediately after we push the push button. And the timer in task 2B function is delay of timer. So the timer will not start count immediately when we push the push button, but it will start count after we depress the push button. Next question is, if the timer connection is modified as per below, describe the operation of the circuit. First, turn on the power supply, then push the push button. Low voltage supply will flow into the relay coil, which is R1. So the relay coil R1 will energize. It will produce electromagnetic field. This magnetic field will cause of the contact of R1 change the position from open to close. So the voltage will flow until it reach the T1, which is timer 1. When T1 is already closed, so the bulb will light up. After the R1 is connected, the timer will start to count since it is on delay timer. Then after 5 seconds, contact of T1 will change position from close to open. So the bulb will not light up.
Lab Activity 3, Basic Counter Circuit. Connect the device as shown in the figure, set the counter to 5 and test the circuit. PB1. The button on top has been pressed. C1 button is pressed and the counter has start counting. After the counter reach the set count, which is 5, the bulb will light up. PB2 has been pressed. The whole counter will reset back to 0, the bulb light off. Observation. For observation in lab activity 3 is explain PB1 and PB2 function in the circuit. The function for PB1 here start as starter that allows power supply to flow into the circuit. For PB2, it is function as a reset or stop button. So after we press it, the counter will restart and go back to 0.
Okay, now let's talk about the question. The question is, if the counter is modified as per below, describe the operation of the circuit. So turn on the power supply. When we turn on the power supply, we can see that the contact C1 has been closed from the start and causing the bulb to light up. When we press the push button, the low voltage power supply will flow to the relay coil R1, and then the relay coil R1 will energize. It will produce electromagnetic field. This magnetic field causes the contact of R1 to change from normally open to normally closed. When it is in normally closed condition, the current will automatically flow. The voltage will flow to C1. So the C1 is actually the counter. And when we push the counter button for about 5 times, the C1 will change from normally closed to normally open. So the bulb will start to not light up again. If you want to reset it back, which is we want to light up the bulb, we have to press the PB2 so that the C1 will change back from normally open to normally closed. It will causing the bulb light up.